Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink is by Private Reserve, Fiesta Red. And, you know how I said I was gonna, try and use some more middle ground pens? Yeah, I didn't this time. This is my JinHao X450. It's a pretty broad nib, and it's a pretty wet nib, and I love it, and I wanted to put a red ink in it, and so I did some tests. Let's check out the chromatography. As you can see, not a great deal of water resistance, and it's pretty close to pink. Light pink down at the bottom, sort of a darker pink up at the top, and then really only at the edge does it sort of strike a more true, deeper red. So, yeah. Let's check out the paper test. Top-down intensity, Clairefontaine, 90 grams per square meter. Yeah, you can probably see how wet this pen must have been because that's quite a smear. And 20 seconds to dry. Now, here it does look like a nice, rich red, and it is, but where it gets thin, that's where it starts to turn pink. And you see it a little bit in the writing, but yeah, overall, like 95% of the time, it's just a straight red. So, yeah, it's not the most water resistant. It dyed the paper just a little bit, but what's there is fairly clear, and it's mostly dark, except for a few tops of the E's. But yeah, the scrubby. So next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter, where again you get great shading. I mean, here you get this halo effect. It's not a sheen, but it is a halo. 21 seconds to dry, and as you can see, it was pretty wet. Still kind of leaning towards pink in the thinner parts, which you can see in the writing a bit, but good shading. I really like the halo effect here. So, yeah, even though I'm not a big fan of pinks overall, since this one is mostly red and I put it in such a wet nib, I mean, I think it looks really great here. But, dyed the paper the teeniest bit, but what's there is fairly there and fairly dark. Again, the top of the E's, I don't know. But anyways, scrubby. Next is Tomoe River Paper, where you get some serious halo, and it's still not quite sheen, it's more just shiny. I don't know how to describe it, and I'm not going to be able to get it on camera, I know, but it's an interesting effect. 24 seconds to dry, which, you know, all things considered should not be a shock, because it's a really wet pen, and it's pretty broad, and this is Tomoe River Paper. But I really like the halo effect. I like the pen, paper, and ink combo. And I feel like here it's less obviously pink. Here I feel like it's just more of a red, which I rather liked. But no bleed feather spread. That water test is actually pretty good, considering this is Tomoe River. It's almost dyed the paper. Yeah, but anyways, it's pretty clear, pretty dark. Again, the scrubby, serious echo. And here's where things get expectedly bad. Here's the 20-pound copier paper, where I feel like it really did just turn into a dark pink. But 3 seconds to dry, and there's bleed and feather and spread. And I feel like all the nice facets are gone. There's really no shading. There's no halo. That water test is atrocious. I mean, it dyed the paper. It exploded. It feathered. Yeah. Again, if you used like a reasonable amount of intelligence and didn't put it in a really broad wet pen and use it on terrible paper, it probably would do a bit better. Next is Mead Notebook Paper, where it definitely turned into a dark pink. Took 3 seconds to dry, and where you will very easily see it feathered and exploded and it bled a lot. And that water test is terrible. I mean, that's unreadable in a few spots. And again, if you used a shred of intelligence, you wouldn't do this, but I really like that pen. Last is Moleskine paper, where it took on more of a cartoon blood red, like a dry blood kind of a color. It took 6 seconds to dry. It's not pink anymore. It somehow became more orange than pink. I don't understand, but yes, it exploded. And it's like that everywhere. Oh wow, look at vibrancy. Ooh. Anyways, and the water test is awful, but again, you use a shred of intelligence. You're not going to use a broad, wet pen on the crappiest paper ever. God, this stuff drives me crazy. Anyways, yeah, duh. I mean, I think we all saw that coming. But anyways, so for your consideration from the Triple N Network, Private Reserve's Fiesta Red. It's a nice, sort of bright, jovial red, but it definitely leans towards pink where it's thinner. Yeah, I love it in a wet pen on nice paper. It looks fantastic. I don't really recommend it on cheap paper, but yeah. So for your consideration from the Triple N Network, if you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. Bye.